The National Eucharistic Congress starts next week with an opening procession and revival session on Wednesday evening, July 17th in Indianapolis. The rest of the week, there will be adoration, morning and afternoon liturgies, impact sessions, afternoon breakouts, and evening revival sessions every day through the closing Mass on Sunday, July 21st. This has been a massive undertaking, years in the making, and in charge of it all is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Eucharistic Congress, Tim Glemkowski. Tim, great to see you. Thanks for being on. We are just days away now, the first National Eucharistic Congress in the U.S. in more than 80 years. What are your expectations going into this for the Catholic faithful, and what do you anticipate this event will ultimately mean for the life of the U.S. Church?
You know, Catherine, thanks for having me. And we're just so excited. We're, less than a week away now. And so many folks are so excited. I think the pilgrimages have built such an anticipation and enthusiasm coming into the Congress. I see everybody talking about it, where their exhibitor booths are going to be and sessions they're excited to attend. So it's really seeming like it's shaping up to be this really remarkable moment that we've hoped it would be.
Absolutely. The National Eucharistic Congress is free for children 12 and under to attend, but it is hundreds of dollars for anyone above 12. And on top of that, there are travel and hotels, and that does add up to be a costly trip for Catholic families to make. Tim, why is coming to the National Eucharistic Congress an investment that's worth making?
Yeah, this is a historic moment. You're right. It is an investment. And it's the sort of thing where we really hope as much as possible that we've been able to remove some of those barriers to entry with scholarships or more affordable housing options. And I know it's working out for different people in different ways. But I do think whether you're coming alone or with your family, this is the sort of thing that in 20 years you're going to look back on and say, I'm glad I went to that. And there's only a few of those things I think that come around every so often. I wish I'd been there at World Youth Day in 1993. I was 4 years old. And so I wasn't, in attendance at that time. But this is one of those moments. And so, don't miss this.
And I know there are weekend passes as well for those who can't be there Wednesday through Sunday. Tim, how are those ticket sales looking, and what is the estimated crowd size at this point out?
Yeah, 51,000 passes have been distributed right now. And honestly, the last 2 weeks, they've been kind of flying, as a lot of people make their last minute plans. And so we're getting really close to sell out. There are still some tickets available. Like you said, day and weekend passes make this the kind of thing where if you can only come for a portion, that's great. You can still join us. The Saturday procession is going to be a real sort of hallmark of the event. I know there's kind of ancillary events going on too. So just being in Indy at that time is going to be incredible. And we're really excited to fill the stadium and really show the nation, our country, our love for Jesus in the Eucharist.
It was initially estimated that the National Eucharistic Congress, I believe, would cost about $28 million. How does the actual spending compare to that original estimate, and what do these costs and preparations entail?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a critical question, right? And one we've tried to be really transparent about, really unpacking with people sort of where dollars are going. And we felt that kind of transparency was important for a big visible project like this. The Congress event itself comes in right around a $14 million budget. So it is about half of that original budget estimate. And we've been able to do that by just having a really kind of scrappy team of volunteers, full-time staff, contractors, and different helpers. It's amazing. Event costs, something I've learned a ton about in the last couple of years that I never really realized. Things like production, having a housing vendor to get everyone in the hotel rooms that they need to get in, security costs. And when you have 50,000 people, every little cost gets big, right? So everything that costs $1 for one person times 50,000, those costs add up all over the place. So there's a whole spreadsheet that has, about 50 tabs on it that has every line item going into that budget, but we've really tried to do it in a very lean way. We've consulted with different organizations who do big events to say, what budget realities look like, and we feel confident that that's sort of a budget that's fair to the sort of gravity of the moment, but at the same time is really making good use of being able to provide it in as affordable a way as possible.
Absolutely. How much, Tim, will the National Eucharistic Pilgrimage be a part of this Congress's legacy? What do you think?
Gosh, I mean, I think that just really, the whole experience of it was even more powerful than I think any of us really imagined. It almost gets me a little choked up to think about. But very much so. I think in some ways that will remain as maybe one of the most unique and sort of powerful moment of all of this, right? The two things are always one spiritual action. We always thought of the pilgrimages without the event, candidly, don't happen, right? There needs to be that local rallying point in Indianapolis that they're all going toward. But to build, a movement of witness and intercession leading into it was just incredibly powerful.
And I understand the sacraments will be readily available next week, including Mass every day. And I understand Mass will be celebrated in multiple rites and languages. Why was this important?
Yeah, we have to show really the unity of the church, right, in its diversity. There's a lot of beautiful ways that people express their love of Jesus and the Eucharist, a lot of different rites that are all under the Pope, right, and part of the Catholic Church. And so to really make sure that we were representative in how we displayed that unity of the church broadly across all those different rites was really important to us. And so, yeah, we've got 20 liturgies that we're sort of personally sponsoring. And then we're hearing of different liturgies that either dioceses are hosting or different groups. I think the Filipino Catholic group is going to gather with Cardinal Tagle at some point at the cathedral. Like, it's really kind of cool to see how people are really just filling out this whole experience. Indianapolis is just going to be invaded by Catholics for the next 5 days next week. So it's going to be powerful.
Well, in our final moments, less than a minute left, Tim, the Congress does not conclude the National Eucharistic Revival. What's next after this?
Well, first, the year of mission. The Eucharistic Revival closes next year, Corpus Christi. And so there's some exciting announcements. I can't say too much, but tune into the Congress, to EWTN's coverage of the Congress, to see some cool announcements about some ways we're going to keep the movement going following this event. But certainly all of that starting with the invitation to all of us to be Eucharistic missionaries. Flowing from that encounter with Jesus in the Eucharist, we go to the least and the lost. That's really who the church is in her core, is this invitation to mission. And so that's really the point of the whole Eucharistic Revival, is this third year in some ways, is by no means, it just kind of keeps building momentum, we would say.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to seeing you in Indianapolis in just a few days now. Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. Thanks for having me.